Swift. Those two words say a lot. The singer-songwriter is beyond iconic at the age of 34. She has and is making history in so many ways. Her romance with Kansas City Chiefs Travis Kelce, a new album, a history-making world tour, which has added millions to many economies. She's endorsed a presidential candidate as well. We have an expert on all of this, Professor Ari Perez from Quinnipiac University. Welcome back.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me again.
Good to see you. This is all good, fun news. All right, the last time you were here, you were teaching an online class on Taylor Swift. How did it go? What did you learn, if anything?
Yeah, I think it went great. You know, like I had about 20 students, including one student that's not from Quinnipiac University, that they enrolled just to take this class. That was very exciting. I learned so much from my students. We had like this beautiful, great, vibrant community talking about Taylor. And I learned so many things, but I think can I say something cheesy?
Sure.
I think my favorite thing wasn't about actually Taylor Swift, but learning so much from my colleagues that helped me make the class and that really gave me a lot of their knowledge and their theory in the specific fields, and to really appreciate the richness and the vastness of Taylor's work.
Oh, that's terrific. All right, you brought in some numbers. She endorsed Kamala Harris for president and then got more followers, and you fill in the numbers.
Yeah, for sure. So by estimates, it looks like she got 500,000 people to register all over the U.S. with her endorsement. So I was thinking, is that enough to make a difference? And I looked at two states specifically, Arizona and Georgia, because those were very close in the last election.
Swing states, yes.
Swing states, yeah. And so assuming, you know, about the same amount of people that turn out for election turn out of those 500,000, that's about 330,000 voters. If you do it proportionally for each state, that means Georgia gets about 11,000 new voters because of Taylor Swift, and Arizona gets about 7,500. Assuming that for every Trump voting Swiftie, there are 3 Harris voting Swifties, and that is just an approximation. I just had to put down a number. She gets, from this endorsement, Kamala Harris gets a net gain of about 4,000 votes in Arizona and about 5,500 votes in Georgia, which was half the margin of President Biden. So I think her endorsement is really difficult to quantify. It's impossible to know. These are all just estimations. But in an election so tight as we're seeing between former President Trump and VP Harris, I think it could have an actual weight.
Well, and we should tell the folks who don't know, your background is in engineering, and you got a thing for numbers, which you just showed all that. All right, in teaching about Taylor Swift, and you may do this again next summer.
Yes, ma'am.
What is it that you can add to everything that's already been said, to everything she's already doing? I mean, she is so iconic.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I don't know that there's anything I personally can add because there's so much scholarship and so much great work that's being done by everyone. But I think it goes back to what we were just talking about. Coming in from engineering, I don't have the theoretical framework tied to a specific discipline that typically studies Taylor. I am coming in just with a lot of Taylor Swift knowledge and an open mind to learn from everybody. And so I think that what made my class different is I was able to combine so many approaches from so many very smart folk that have published this, that have worked on this, without being tied to like my home base in sociology or in history or in economics. You know, I'm just an engineer, I'm just looking at things, and I'm able to really stand on the shoulders of everybody else that has worked on her from all these fields.
Why did you embrace her in the first place?
Oh, you know, I guess the short story is I found her music because I was teaching 6th grade science at the time, and my students really liked her. And as soon as I put it on, I had an experience that I've only ever had once more in my life. I describe it as an epiphany. And I just sat on the couch, and I remember thinking, if I had any talent, these are the songs I would be writing. It felt like somebody had looked into my heart and read my innermost thoughts and then was singing songs about it back to me. And I think that's an experience that's very common to a lot of Swifties, and I think that speaks to how relatable and how touching her music really is.
Well, I appreciate all that you know. We hope you do teach another class in the summertime. Is there any way that people can get a hold of you or find out what it is that you know about Taylor Swift?
Yeah, for sure. So I have a podcast. It's called What Are Taylor Swift Studies Anyways? You can find it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. And that's a series of 13 casual academic interviews with my colleagues at Quinnipiac, talking about all the different academic lenses we can apply to Taylor Swift. So I have the head of the program of legal studies at Quinnipiac, Professor Gatkar Wilcox, come in and really talk us about how the law works in the U.S., how we have a patchwork of federal laws, state law, local laws, and so how her actions that have affected the law, like the phone call recording with Kanye, are really dependent on where that happened because of how state law works. And we do that with business, with sociology, with women and gender studies. So if they want to get a taste for the class, that's about the best place. And then if they want to get in touch with me, I have an Instagram page at Quinnipiac Swifty, where I post every day pictures of beautiful Mount Carmel campus for Quinnipiac University and assign them to the Taylor Swift era they belong to. Again, that is just what I feel. Please don't come at me. But you can send me a DM through there and I'd be glad to chat.
Professor, thanks so much for coming on. We always appreciate it and all the things that you know.
Thank you so much.
You bet. And if you'd like to know more about Taylor Swift, go to WTNH.com or the News 8 app.